Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Just thought I'd stop in and say hello to everyone. Hello to everyone. I'm here. I'm talking about one of my favorite subjects, and which is gardening. And what happened this year around most interesting garden year of all. Let's see, I injured my knee, and due to stepping up on a curb, believe it or not. And so I injured my knee, and it's been crazy. Um, Missed out on the whole garden season because everything overgrew as far as weeds go, just overgrew in the garden, and I couldn't get out there to do anything. Hello, how you doing? I can't, Campo. Okay. How you doing? Hi, brother. Yes, we've had been careful. Yes. I mean, and I was out. I was completely out. Couldn't believe that. And here's something else I learned about the knee. Here's what I learned about the knee. One of the most excruciating, painful parts of your body that can hurt is the knee. And what I did is I bent the knee backwards, and it tore up a lot of I can't think what the doctor called. I believe she called it ligaments in the back of the knee. And so after about 2 weeks, I laid at home trying to doctor on it myself, and it stayed swollen and it stayed. The damage was I couldn't walk on it. I couldn't do anything with it. I couldn't even touch my big toe without excruciating pain. So anyway, um, weeks went by and more weeks went by, and then wound up in the hospital. And they basically lots and lots of pharmaceuticals. And I learned something that the knee can hurt so bad that even if they give you morphine, you can still feel your knee hurting. Um, and the other one was, I think they call it codeine. I can still feel my knee hurting. So all in all, it's getting better now. It's getting much better now. I can walk. I just, I have to be very careful because sometimes they try to give out and that sort of thing. So I went out to my property and I saw grass and weeds that were like 3 feet tall. Nothing I could do about it. Couldn't do anything about it. Lawnmower can't do anything to it. So I got to get out there one day with the tractor, or I cut it down with the weed um, trimmer. Good thing that came out of all of this is that when I cut all this back, and I said to each and every one of you that it's going to all be chop and drop. It's just going to be drop and it's going to lay. And one thing about lying on the ground, chop and drop, is nothing but free fertilizer. Um, but I got an opportunity to watch a number of videos, and one of my favorite videos is called I think it's called the Brothers Farmer Brothers. Uh, anyway, they're very professional, very friendly, and everything on their property grows. Everything grows on their property, and they don't mind sharing the information with you. Sort of like myself, I looked at their videos, and they grew. What they mainly grow is peppers, and they grow a variety called red bell pepper, and it is a incredible piece of fruit, huge in size. The way they grew it, it was huge in size, it was beautiful. Um, and they talked about how they fertilize. They talked about a fertilizer regimen. Now, it's very important because a lot of us we lose it when it comes to watering and fertilizing. And I gotta say that because I'm one of those people that what I do is I I I dig my hole, I put my fertilizer down in the hole, and once I put my fertilizer in the hole, I use a organic granulated fertilizer. I put it down in the hole along with some cow manure. And once I put that in there, I put the plant, I cover it up maybe about an inch, and then I set the plant right on top of it. I love doing that because I like to see the plant explode once it taps in. But the other thing that they do is they use a topical fertilizer, which we call foliar feeding. Now, think about this for a second, folks. A lot of us, and you can, if you feel that you're one of these people, you put it up there. But a lot of us absolutely will fertilize the plant up front, water the plant, and we feel like we got it done. Well, if the plant um, pH is not correct, excuse me, the soil is not correct. Hello, how you doing? Good to hear from you. Been watching your videos, Food Forest. Been watching them. Um, but if you do two-part fertilization to your crop, I think you'd be better off if you did the granulated fertilizer you put in the ground. It's gonna take a long time to feed the plant, and you're quite welcome. And you feed your plants, they're gonna be fine if you feed them. But think about a fertilizer that will act quicker, that you can adjust, which is foliar feeding. You could actually spray the tops of these plants, and in the evening. I like to do it in the evening, and you do it in the evening, and when you do it, they take it in and they start responding. Now, if you watch the plants, which I saw this farmer do, which I really like what he did, he simply read the leaves. He just simply read his leaves. Whatever the leaves tell him, he has a leaf chart. He said he looks at it and he said this is low on potassium, this is low on iron, and he can look at the leaf and get a good indication of what's going on with his plant. Now that I like because plants, as quiet as it's kept, don't talk very much. So that you want to make certain that you get the information you need to know how to adjust your fertilizer. But what he did was he used a foliar feeding, and he fed it every other week. But if you saw what he had the biggest peppers. He had the biggest, and corn was just incredible. And what else he grew? I think he grew okra. Other words, everything was responding well on his property. And he talked about his soil. He talked about the fact that his soil is somewhat rocky, and he said that that's a good thing and a bad thing. He explained both sides of it, and I just thought it was incredible. So I quickly locked him in, like I did a lot of you, and I locked him in, and I had him to my favorite. So if they put anything up, it immediately bounces to me and say they have something up. And but I'm just gonna say this: I chop and drop. My soil looks good, but I do not, and I repeat, have the success that these guys have because they're using natural products. That's what they're using. They're not using anything that's weird, that's man-made. And I like that because it lets me know that it can be done, and it can be done where you have massive amounts of food coming off of that property. And he talked about his soil. He said, I don't have really clay soil. He said, I have like a mixture of a rocky soil. He explained the problem with having clay soil. Like my soil is a clay soil. And that clay soil can starve or rob your plants of oxygen. It's very crucial to get to those roots. And there's a way to make certain changes in your soil so they can get that valuable oxygen because it's just as valuable as you giving it fertilizer. And I just enjoy watching their films. Now, a lot of their films they play around a lot, and you go, okay, let's get to the point. But for the most part, look at the product, look at the soil, and when they tell you what they're actually feeding these plants, you got to go, wow, this is really great because they're showing you things that are easy to get to fertilize your your soil, your plants. And he's talking about foliar feeding, which is direct feeding to the plant. So if you have problems with your pH in your soil, where your plants can't really soak up enough nutrients because the soil's out of balance, and right now it's very difficult to get a soil test done with the coronavirus thing going around. Those offices, a lot of them offices are closed down. They are not dealing with packages coming in the mail that they don't know if it's contaminated or not. So they, you know how that works. So uh, creating liquid fertilizers that you can spray over the top of these plants will give your plants such a boost, such a great boost. So on that note, that's what I want to say about it. Um, they convinced me that this is a great way to go. And think about it: if you have weeds growing around your plants, and you are just feeding just your plant and not your weeds, then you're going to do some weeding, but you don't want to you don't want to fertilize a whole piece of ground and have the weeds get the benefit of it as well. You don't want to do that. Now, something else they did, they were using this fabric. You're familiar with it? It's like a weed guard type of fabric. They were using that, and I looked at that and I said, "Wait a minute, what are the benefits of using this fabric versus just not using the fabric?" And I did some research where I discovered that sometimes the fabric can be a benefit, and sometimes it can be a harmful thing. And some information was that I got was telling me that sometimes bugs and insects hide under that fabric, and they come out at night, and they come out in the evening, and they eat your plants, and they go back under there, and they hide from the predatory insects that would eat them. They hide underneath that fabric. They go in the same holes where the plants are coming up out of, and they simply hide there, and they eat your plants. Um, so that being said, make sure that you do your research if you decide to go, with a fabric or you decide to go without. Because I think I'm gonna go without because all I have to do is keep the weeds down at least about 15, 16 inches away from my plants. Get out there some days and do some pulling. Excuse me, bless me. So that being said, I missed a lot of what goes on this year with my garden, but then again, if I look at the benefits, I got lots of tall grass and weeds that I'm going to cut down and chop and drop. I got out into on the property. I took some of the trees, which were most of the apple trees, and I cut them all the way back because I want my trees, when they do that last little flush, they'll get about to the height where I want them at. I don't want my trees real tall. Right now, I got trees out there that are 21 and 22 feet tall. And these are dwarf trees. And the reason why they grow so well is because I do a lot of chop and drop, and that feeds that soil continuously, folks. They eat what lays on top of that soil once it works its way into the soil, which is the chop and drop, and they do quite well. So the trees are like I said, 22 feet tall. I got most of my peach trees out there. I got to cut down, get them around about 6.5, 7 feet tall, and then when they do that last little flush, they might come up about another foot. Um, and when you cut them back and you come back around in the spring, a lot of times you want to get your trees off to a good start when the spring comes around. As soon as them trees start breaking out in buds, the buds start swelling, I suggest you fertilize that tree to give it a jump, to get the everything started. You don't want to wait, have your tree slowly responding because it's not had enough of what it needs to go and do what it needs to do. Pretty much, and that's you almost you join a French farm. No, I didn't join it. I injured. I was telling the folks earlier. I injured my knee, and it's still in the process of mending. I'm still taking some pain medication, which is Oh, let me tell you folks something. But check with your doctor first. It's really good for pain. It's called Aleve, and Aleve has helped me get through a lot. Aleve has got me through a lot. Um, Now, let's just start talking here about something. A lot of you guys, I sometimes sit around and think about you guys. I said, man, I said, wonder, um, if everybody remember me or forgot about me on the thing there, and it's crazy, it's crazy, man. But I was hurt. I couldn't even this chair that I'm sitting in right now. I couldn't even sit in this chair. I couldn't do it. Any extended period of time, if it was over 3 minutes, the knee would just start throbbing, and I said, I got to go back to the bed again. And it was crutches. It was a walker. Hey, look, I never walked on a walker before. The first time I ever walked on a walker was when I hurt my knee. And now I'm walking without the walker. I'm walking without the crutches. Still taking some of the pain medication. And like I said, Aleve, I don't have no affiliation with the company or anything, but I use that Aleve, and it would kill the pain of the knee. And I'm talking, I had severe pain, severe. But the Aleve would knock it down for about 8 hours, and like that, and it was just incredible. It was the only thing that kept me together. But and then I would have these spasms in the knee, just spasms. It would, oh my God, that'll send you to the hospital, the emergency room. You have one of them spasms, it'll send you to the emergency room. Good luck, folks. Peace out, fellow Earthling. Well, you take care, and be looking for some more of those videos of yours. Especially my favorite is the fishing videos and also the garden videos. And you had one on there that was cannabis, you know. And I was saying, I sent a note to you that they sell the seeds on eBay. They expensive though. They're about like 5 seeds for like almost, a ridiculous amount of money. There are some. There was a guy that put up a video, and it's I think it's titled "5 Best Vegetables You Could Grow for you want to get an ample amount of return." And he put like some tomatoes on there that got real high ratings, and he put some peppers on there that got real high ratings, because there are some things we can grow that are definitely better food to grow that's faster or produces more, better flavor maybe, and so I'm looking into those as well. I'm looking at those as well. But I'm really quite amazed at the cost of what seeds cost now. Seeds are ridiculous now. I went on eBay and looked up. There's a guy got a pack of tomato seeds, and they're the only ones on there that I want. Well, he got a couple other companies want them on there. They want $6 for 15 seeds, things of that nature. And it's because of the popularity of that particular tomato. And so I'm glad to see you are back doing better. Thank you very much. Thank you. People who said it, because I'll tell you something. It was touch and go there for a while. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss the gardening season. Oh, and one of my trees had an ample amount of pears on it. I'm scared to go out there and look at them. I'm afraid that the squirrels ate them or birds, because I haven't been able to walk out to that part of the yard. The grass is too deep, folks. It's too deep, and I don't want to be around any grass that deep. It's just deep. It's like almost 4 feet. And I'm going to go out there with that powerful weed trimmer I have, and I'm going to earn my respect back from them weeds. Because I'm going to tell you something. That's why I bought that powerful weed trimmer. Because the ones that were like $100, my yard laughs at those. When you go out there in my yard, when you get to the deep part of my yard, they have no respect for $100 weed trimmer. You have to go in there with one that's at least $250, $300, and in order to get some respect, it's got to be a nice, squared line that's on it, where it has those edges. You have to go out there with enough power behind you where you go out there and earn your respect. So I just bought a professional grade weed trimmer, and you cut down the weeds as low as you can get them. They hit the ground and they start going in. They start going in the ground. Any roots that are running under the areas where you cut down the trees will definitely soak up those weeds' energy, and there's nothing, folks, but free fertilizer. Free fertilizer. So I'm cutting all my trees back. I'm cutting them back. I want them back under control. I have how many trees I got out there? I don't know how many I have out there. I know I have 10 apple trees. and they're doing quite well. But they're a couple of them are skinny, but I got some other ones in a bowl and they're growing well. Um, so I haven't been able to do a lot because of my knee. And I refuse to go out there in that yard and step in a hole or step on something and had a knee or a foot go sideways like that, and I'll be right back in trouble again. I said I can't do it. I think I was out for about 6 weeks, and I never felt anything like it. And I learned a lot from that. Watch what you are stepping on when you're outside. This was a curb, folks. This was a freak accident. I was getting into the car and I stepped towards the curb and my foot went one way and my knee went another. It was crazy. So you can still grow your food and save costs. Natural fertilizers, some of them don't cost you anything. Um, I'm still getting a lot of information on fertilizers that you can make at home. Um, they are incredible, such as urine, excuse me, with what's the other thing? Something add ashes into it to get a more of a balanced fertilizer, and they pouring that right over the top of their plant. I used to produce a lot of it when my pellet stove was working, but now it's not acting right. So I'm gonna figure out what's going on with it. All it does is when you light it up, and then later on it'll dump a whole bunch of pellets down there inside the thing, and then you see it all in there burning, and you say, "Oh my God!" And then you got to figure out a way to clean it out and cut it off and all that. It's just crazy. But there's something going on with it, and I got to figure out what's going on with it. So I kind of backed off of it and then come forward because it's a beautiful thing to have a pellet stove, especially in the winter. And now that the pellets are going up in cost, it's a lot. It takes the fun out of it. Because when I first bought it, the pellets were like $3 for a 40-pound bag. Now they climb it up on $6 a bag, which is ridiculous to me because the whole point of the stove was to save cost on heating. But if it costs as much to heat as it does your regular gas heat and that sort of thing, and then it's kind of crazy, to be carrying those heavy bags home. I used to stack the bags, every 40, 50 bags, and that would get me all the way through the winter. Maybe, no, 30, 40, yeah. 40 bags would definitely get you through. And it's a comfortable, warm heat, folks. You just want to, it's a fireplace. You just want to, and I got a beautiful bay window is in front of it, big wide window where you can watch the flame. And then when it's burning properly, you got the stove properly clean. It burns quite well. The only thing I can say I don't like about the stove is that it only takes one 40-pound bag. Good to see you back. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's good to see you back. And I appreciate that. People, I thought, honestly, I thought no one, well, not a lot of people really cared about the show because it was like, sometimes I go on, but the highest amount of people I ever had tune into my show was like 13 people. But people are still telling me, they say, Morning Garden, you just got to find a way to get the word out there on your show because you share a ton of information that you could actually be selling because I've been doing this for close to 21 years and I learned a great deal. Um, I actually call myself a bit of the plant whisperer because I actually pay attention to my plants. I actually pay attention to my soil and I watch plants grow. And I think the most amazing thing is to see a seed break ground. And then when you get it up to a point where you start seeing the true leaves come out, and you know that you now have roots under this plant, and then you can start feeding this plant and watch it just take off. Because let's see, I grew some beautiful bell peppers this year. I found them underneath 3 feet of weeds. I had to dig for them and look, and I said, okay, there they go. I saw a whole bed of collard greens and kale get taken over by weeds, completely covered them over, so it smothered them out from the sun. So that in turn killed them. But plants battle in the field just like we do, humans do. They will kill each other for survival. They will kill the other plant. It's the reason why they grow over other plants. They shade them out so that they can take over that space where they grow. So they be out there battling. And um, the collard greens and kale is a beautiful plant to grow. But just imagine this: if you took collard greens and poured over collard greens urine and that is not a disgusting subject, folks. Let's just be like farmers and gardeners. If you pour that over the top of it, I've done this before. The collard greens, which loves nitrogen, will take off. And I'm not talking about slow growth like it's down here. I'm talking about take off and do that number two. And the plants will look really vibrant and strong. And you'll know that your urine is having an effect on this plant. The other thing is, it's a very, yes, it does. Yep, yep, you're right. And to use it, you will see your plants get dark, and I mean dark green. I mean a really dark green. And then you'll see your plants do another number to you, which is they will definitely the size. They will outgrow some plants that you're growing with miracle grow. They'll outgrow them as far as size, and they definitely will have better quality because you got to remember you're feeding them something natural. If you look at the list of the micronutrients that are in, and you can pull that up on Google. You can Google it. Micronutrients in urine. And you see all that stuff in there, you're going to swear you're reading Google. You can Google it. Micronutrients in urine. And you see all that stuff in there, you're going to swear you're reading a high price bag of fertilizer. You're gonna swear you're reading a high dollar bag of fertilizer. So whether it be in pots or whether it be in the ground, and you feed these plants this, whether it be a tree, you feed your tree the urine. It's better than if you go out and buy the bags of urea, because urea is just a cut of urine. It's just a part of it. But if you give them urine, also your body, if you're eating well, produces a better urine fertilizer. It's just natural instead of burgers and fries and onion rings and potato chips and you whatever you put in is what comes out. Now, I want to get back to something that I used to say on here, and I want to talk to some of you about it. It has to deal with using fertilizers that are made from animals that are farm raised, such as cattle and horses. Okay, cattle, dewormer, drugs for the sicknesses that sometimes cows have, uh, all that stuff that they crap out goes into fertilizer, and when you put it in your garden, you're adding that to your garden. So here on out, you won't see me using those bags of uh, cow manure like I did before. Not like I did before. You won't see me using it because if I could get away with using urine as opposed to some farmer that I know nothing about selling me a 40-pound bag of cow manure, which is just another animal other than myself, just another animal, I feel safer using my own urine. Now, that being said, I'm not telling anybody to go use urine. I'm not suggesting that maybe you can use urine. I'm saying I will. And then I will get on this air and I will tell you what's going on and I will show you the results of the plant and how powerful this stuff is. And to realize that urine has been used for thousands of years. It's just somebody did this and kept it quiet and so they could sell us all these bags of stuff that's in the stores that are in these cases that they sell for $45 and $68 a bag and more, and they don't want you to know about it. They don't want you to know about it because if think about it, if you sit at home peeing in a bucket You get enough in there, then you go outside and you got your watering can and you mix 1 part to 8 parts of water in there. Guess what they just lost, folks? Can you say customer? Can you say income? Can you say income? Because you will no longer go there. If you go on collard greens and peppers and tomatoes bigger and sweeter than the stuff that you paying for on the shelves at the store. So that's the reason why I did buy fertilizers um, when I would go to Home Depot. They would have these mass sales on where you were getting fertilizer for, oh my God, what was I getting fertilizer for? I was getting $8 bags for $2.50. Absolutely, I was jumped on it because I could take that fertilizer, I could sell it, I could not only sell it, I could take the fertilizer and I could do other things with it. So urea, urea is a fertilizer. I've never seen any of the stores. Most of the farmers know where to get it from. But that's for use human waste as yeah, you're right. And I'm gonna tell you something. You need to go online and watch some of these Japanese farmers. Oh my God, they are perfectionists to the absolute highest degree. I mean, their soil is much respected, and they go out there, they do all these little things to these plants so they can grow these perfect melons, these perfect grapes, and it's just crazy. Now, imagine this, if you will. Spring starts coming in. You got your grapevines out there. Some of you have grapevines. How many of you out there got grapevines right now? How many of you have grapevines on your property? Come on, don't be shy. Um, but when you have these grapevines out there and you let them grow naturally, yeah, they're going to produce grapes. Absolutely, they're going to produce grapes. But imagine going out there and putting down as soon as they start budding out. I say, I have a grapevine. Okay, okay, good, great. That's great. Now imagine this, if you will. You go out there, they start budding just a little. And you said, no, I'm not gonna let my grapes wait all year long to produce. 6 inches from the grapevine trunk that's in the ground to 2 feet out, you fertilize. And on the other side, you fertilize. 6 inches, 2 feet out, you fertilize. Now, here's what'll happen. Once that starts going into the ground, um, your grapevine is gonna get a jump. They're gonna leaf out quicker. They're gonna start putting on their show that said, I'm going to produce fast this year. And that's what they're going to do. You can do that with any plant in your yard. You can do it with you could do it with apple trees. You could do it with peach trees, pear trees. You can give them a jump. But you got to know when to apply this fertilizer. And the best time to do it is as soon as I have a couple of grapevines. Yeah, that's right. Grapevines are great to have. It's a sign of wealth, some people say. But you give them that jump so that when you look back, you'll say, oh, okay, here it is only in April and early part of May, and you'll see these plants already done got a jump on it. Your neighbor's plant got a jump on it, and then you want to trim the grapes back to a few clusters because you don't want to try to. Plants will, a lot of times, you notice yourself, will overproduce. And when they overproduce, they produce these little bitty, little tiny little grapes. And you don't want that necessarily, unless you're going to use it for make something else out of it, maybe wine or preservatives, whatever. But when you want big, pretty grapes, you want a vine that's big and bulky and well fed to produce. Instead of 50 clusters, you might want to cut it back down to 20 clusters. So you get a number of big, pretty grapes. Another thing is, I bought these little bags, and I put these over, this was a horrible experiment right here. This was horrible. No apple or pear would fit in this when I first got these. I squeezed them in there, and then he just immediately started growing, and it was like the bags were tight around him, and I couldn't get the bags off. If you use this bag, please get a huge size bag that you know your pear cannot outgrow. And those right there, you can buy those bags on eBay. I'm not shopping for anybody, telling you go to them. I'm just saying that's where I got mine from. And it's a stiff material. It's supposed to keep birds off. Um, Birds off. Supposed to keep squirrels from eating them, that sort of thing. And I think they did a pretty good job because I had apples and everything in here that kept insects off of them, kept certain critters off of them, and it did pretty well. So that being said, if I could find a bigger bag, I might use them again. It's like 100 bags for like $30. So you know how that is. I've seen people using small ones like that for their figs. Okay, I can see it for figs. I can see it for figs. Yes, I can see it for one fig or whatever like that. But you try to put an apple in there. I had apples. Apples were pretty in here, but they outgrew them so fast. All right, good people. I'm gonna get out of your face for a couple hours. Get ready to go to work, and but it's been nice. It's been real, and I want you to remember. Uh, Keep on gardening, keep on growing, and have a positive day. Thank you very much. Thank you.